Good, appropriate time of the day to you, friends and enemies. I am Richard, and this whole thing, this is LMTDTMFFR, or, say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels. And how are you doing today? I hope you are doing well. I am doing well. I am particularly pleased with my puns that I have posted in the server today, he said, remembering that he had not actually pressed enter and had just written it all out. I will read them to you because I am so proud of them. Today we canvass the art gallery. Will the pictures be up to our sophisticated palate, or will we have a brush with madness? Ho ho ho! Crappy puns. Aren't they the best? Never mind. That is not why we're here. I mean, I'll probably make some throughout the day, or throughout the video, but we are here for Call of Cthulhu and not for crappy pun making with your host. Still, either way, you can do it. So, without further ado, let's flip on over. Oh, it's all in black still. Well, that would be because I forgot to fire up the game before I press the thing. Why can I not switch to it? Well, this is interesting. Ah, okay. Because it is loading, I cannot do anything with the window. That is interesting. I did not know that was a thing. Ah, I should also say, there's Next Fest is out on Steam at the moment, where they are showing off all their indie games and stuff. Which, one of them has caught my interest, so we might have a look at that tomorrow. Excellent, we are back up and running. Called Paper Craft Dungeon? Paper Cut Mansion. Which seems to fit the mold here. It's a kind of horror-y type thing set in a world made entirely of paper. So hey, that would be a good thing to look at some point. Why are you still... You're not showing me that. Good, it is all working. Let us continue with the game. We're just in the Hawkins mansion. And yes, as we go, Pierce woke up in the asylum, installed in the cellars of a roadside institute. He met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him to escape. Wandering through the corridors of this place where Dr. Fuller reigned supreme, Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders before dying in full view of the detective. He accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. I don't think he did. I think he said the Chambler. But oh no, she cursed him. So yeah, okay, she could be. Before dying in full view of the detective, he accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. The companions in misfortune decided to use the Hawkins mansion as a hideout. Dun dun dun! On we go. Enter madness. Yeah, we've seen this bit, but I guess we can watch it again. It's the Leviathan, whatever that is.
Who goes there?
Escape from the asylum.
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
We're not going to be taking a drink. Oh, why did you get out that? I didn't press the button to get out that. Alright, well before we do that, how's our sanity doing? Well, it's lower than before, and now we have the death. Yes, okay, we saw that. Do I have any skill points? I have 1. And I went back and I looked. Occultism starts at 0 and it goes up to 10 with the first thing that you collect. That's fun. Alright, well we're going to max out our investigation. Because we're going to be an investigatee, a spot hidden-y investigating person, and then we might go for psychology afterwards. I don't know. We're certainly not going to be eloquent this time around. Enter, yeah. Cool. Dark water. Oh, it's you who's dead? Deceased. You too say deceased, but you don't say deceased anymore. Wow. The cellars. Clues. No clues for Chapter 6. Hopefully, well, I don't know if we're collecting all the clues or not. I would like to think so. Because of our spot hidden thing. Being able to spot all of the hidden clues, that would be great.
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
No, I want to go down there. Hold on a second. No, that's a door icon, not a hand icon. I thought it was a, oh, it's better in the daylight, at least. I thought it was a folder icon for a moment.
Awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Bleh.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
You died. I mean... Huh. Well, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Anything else around here? It doesn't look like there's anything for me to interact with apart from them. Are you going to tell me?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
Oh, wasn't this some funky music? Let me just double check that it's coming through. Yeah, it is. Alright. I have seen you dead. I don't know. Show me your face? Oh no, you still got a smile. Yeah, what cats people called it.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Why?
Bradley?
What?
Who else would it be?
I don't
Mr.
know.
Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
I did.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Oh, mysticism things that I can't do. I'm not a professional yet. I could have put points in at the beginning, and then I would be able to do that. What they had me endure. Yeah, I don't know what they had me endure, but okay.
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
Where did
What
they
happened
find
afterwards?
me?
When I woke up
That's
the
the
second
question.
time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
Many things. I mean, you are Bradley's friend, but Bradley is dead. Where did they find me? And what happened to you, Bradley? What is your memory of the event? You should be dead. Oh, I don't have medical professional. Found this. Come back. Oh, psychology. Hold to test psychology. Alright, yeah.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
Oh, come off
I
it.
get
What?
the
I mean,
impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
okay, so I assume I failed that. Can I do it again?
I heard you talking.
No, okay,
Why
so
am I
it doesn't
intrude anyway?
test it again. That's good. Professional. I'm way off of that, especially only finding 2% every time you do it. Alright, well, I found this. I don't know what this is.
I found a dark water PD badge. Lost a colleague recently?
What the?
Bradley.
Ethan?
I'm all right. I just had It's gone.
You're sure?
If it's important, it'll come back. But I can't explain why Dr. Fuller would have that badge.
The man's a danger, believe me.
Are you a clone?
What can we do, Pierce?
I don't know. Alright, you should be dead, medical professional. You did see Charles was alive.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
Ah,
And what brings you to that conclusion?
Andor.
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
Didn't
you
you
were
see
there,
him?
Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
I mean, I showed you the badge. Your memory seems to be failing you. I've unlocked that somehow. Is it your memory or your memory? I assume it would say my memory if it was talking about that. You have been watching Andor, and now you'll be watching me. Huzzah! I'm not as enthralling as a multi-million-dollar sci-fi series continuation thing. I am entirely distressed by this. I have not seen any of the episodes of Andor, because I haven't seen Rogue One yet. It's on my list, given that I have Disney Plus, but I just haven't got around to it. Just hasn't seemed important. The same with the last of the Star Wars films. The whatever number 9 is called, Rise of the Skywalker, whatever. I just haven't got around to it.
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
the rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
Oh, well, maybe I should have talked to Charles was alive and then the unlocked one, and then I unfound this. I don't know. Meh. Well, I've tested that already. I'm not a medical professional, so let's come back. Let's talk to Dr. Colden. Oh, investigation expert. What do you say about that? Because I am definitely an expert.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the
I
Scylla.
mean,
Powerful
there's only so
families
many people
dominate
on an island.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
Oh,
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
many things. Sarah Hawkins was committed. I found that evidence. So, do you?
I found a file bearing Sarah Hawkins' name in the Institute's basement.
It makes sense.
Okay.
A powerful family like the Hawkins had the means to hide such a disgrace.
But everyone knows the Fullers have been taking care of the Hawkins for at least a generation. And all were aware of Mrs. Hawkins' fragility.
Perhaps, but no one would allow a psychiatric internment.
From what I read in the file, Fuller used her as a subject of his experiments.
Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins, subjects of Dr. Fuller. Why those two?
Maybe it's something to do with the families? No. Because Sanders was not part of... It's got to be the art. Yeah. And meh is a sufficient reaction to Star Wars at the moment. Okay. I saw dead bodies! I see dead people.
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools
I think
of all
you're
kind.
neck is
Yes,
phasing through
I've been
your
telling
uniform
you that Fuller
there.
uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture
Bradley?
than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's
And
the
can
truth,
clone
Ethan,
people.
and I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
Alright, see, look, up there. Looks like he's phasing through his uniform. Alright, I think I have a lead then, I guess. Unless I've got anything else to say to you now? No, talking to other people does not unlock new things. No. Alright, I might be onto a lead. I mean, I might be onto several leads. I might be on a sofa.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course,
I
he's
wonder
a
if it's
patient.
possible to miss
Or
him
was.
entirely.
I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I
I'm not
can't.
sure I can explain it.
I was on
Tell me
hallucinogens
how
at the
Mr.
time.
Sanders died.
I was on hallucinogens, but he called it the Chambler, whatever that is.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
No, he said it was his
Francis
visitor.
Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree.
Maybe.
She deserves the truth.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
What? Do I have to make the decision now? Alright. I mean, telling her that her husband was killed by this thing which appeared out of nowhere and snapped his spine probably isn't great. Certainly not as dinner conversation. So let's be prudent.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
This will
Very
affect your destiny.
I'll go to see Francis'
Well, that's
widow.
good to know. That's the
Perhaps
first
I'll
time that's
find a
come up.
link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
I'm denying the
Don't end up in a
reality of what I've
hospital this
seen.
time.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Alright, game saved. Consult diary. What can you tell us about Dr. Fuller? He's 52. He's Riverside's senior physician. Dr. Fuller reigns as the undisputed master of the Riverside Institute and its cellars, in which he carries out illegal experiments on his patients. I don't know what he has done to me, but I shouldn't be back on my feet so soon after my fall when the tunnels under the Hawkins mansion caved in. The man is dangerous, and I'd swear he knows more about all this business than he's willing to tell. I have a destiny, yeah. Yeah, I do. I can talk to you
Let
again.
us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
If this is just the end of the chapter and it was just us talking, well, that's a thing.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Alright, well, I'm running around again. Nope. I'm not going out that way. I'm going up. Let me through this door. That's leave? Oh! What? Is this one also leave? Yeah. What? Alright, I'm leaving and going upstairs. I assume it will just take me to the same spot anyway. It will end the chapter or whatever. Nope. Okay, so, I mean, it moves me to the Sanders residence. Fine. Piscol and Bradley decide to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow, Francis Sanders. an art collector and friend of the painter, who died right in front of Pierce. No, I assume it's not possible to avoid seeing him dying then. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Chambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. Excuse me. He could have been a fortunate man. Enter madness.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins.
I would like to,
Can I
not we
come in?
must.
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
I know, I was there when he did.
That is precisely what brings me.
Hello, cat
Well,
something or other.
Look who's here. You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I don't care about
I
your
bump
business.
into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke
not.
to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Ooh,
Very
what are you
well, Miss
doing
Baker.
in the office?
This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
I don't know. There's some horrible paintings around.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
I was in the
Yesterday.
asylum too.
I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah
That's all
Hawkins and
he
her
talked about.
paintings.
Oh.
Please
Subtitles,
forgive
are
my
you
tone.
wrong?
The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died.
I was in there because
How
I
was
was
he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
You must not feel guilty. Okay, I can't do psychology. Make myself comfortable, whips off pants. No. He died screaming right before my eyes. I was no longer there when it happened. You're taking it quite well. I mean, that prompt seems remarkably horrible. I was no longer there when it happened.
We had a short conversation and then I left. I don't know what happened after that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Mr. Pierce, you must forgive my audaciousness,
The way you're dressed
but I've had practice
kind
of life in high society
wobbles.
for over 30 years. Reading one's interlocutors, recognizing the politeness of a lie, are things that are taught very early to young girls from a good family. But your lie has nothing polite about it. It is crass, insulting, and dare I say, terribly suspicious.
Alright.
Try to understand my position. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
I mean... How to test eloquence. I am not eloquent. So I don't think I share your grief, but I had nothing to do with it. I definitely didn't stab him repeatedly until he died screaming. That wasn't me. And there was no way in which I grabbed hold of his back and twisted until it broke. Oddly specific denials, but also oddly specific truths. The true culprit is Fuller. He was doing horrible experiments on him.
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble
This will
to
affect your
receive me.
destiny.
He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. but I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
I want to go tromping all round your house, so that you get no sleep. Yeah. Did you speak of a Chambler?
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A Chambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Chambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
Thank you. I
It
will
is
go
my
tramping
only
all
lead
over
at
the
this stage.
house.
I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Oh, I wanted to ask you the other things about Cat and all the other things that were here. Alright, I gained a character point. Which means... Yes... Oh no! I thought it was only one away. I'm 2 away. Alright. Investigation goes up. 95%, almost a master investigator. And what do you have to say about Irene Sanders? 41, she has no occupation. It's clear she holds Sarah Hawkins responsible for the death of her husband. But I don't understand about Irene Sanders is the mix of sadness and insensitivity. It looks like she'd given up on her husband long before his horrid death in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. Maybe he thought they were having an affair. Him and... Nah, probably not. Hey, do you mind if I go poking around? I can't talk to you anymore, so, I mean, I'm going to. Oh. Can I play parts of the piano in order to uncover a secret? Will there be something which says ACAB somewhere?
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I'm sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you signed a discharge, allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. Play 3 blind mice. Maybe.
The day the Chambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Photograph of Sarah Hawkins next to the Sanders. They must be close. New clue memorized. Oh, reconstruction scene. No, thank you. Let me look at the rest of the stuff before I start reconstructing things. Hey! Breviary of Medicine. Breviary? Second volume in the series covers everything from gas gangrene to trench nephritis. In addition to a precise and detailed study, the book presents some avant-garde theories. And the incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts. Am I a medical expert now? No, 28%. Way off. Uh-oh. This looks like a hiding cupboard. I don't like that. Hey, I've just stolen your book. You don't mind, right? Yeah, it's no longer on that pile. I've taken it. Don't worry. Gramophone. Gaspard, standard... Oh no, phonograph you're talking about. Okay. You all saw that blood that was on this painting, right? You all saw the blood that was on that painting that disappeared as I walked towards it. Right? You all saw that.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say.
An audio recording that Francis Sanders left for his wife, Irene. Sanders, session 2. Alright. sort of weird sphinx. Or, wait, does it have a scorpion tail? No, okay. Yes, I know, I can reconstruct things again. Maybe I will do the reconstruct. Oh! Ah, phonograph.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it.
Pay me to do it.
Inside my head, I see him behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes.
And there's the musical cue to open the thing.
I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Got nothing else to say. Alright, well let's reconstruct the area before I lose this opportunity. Alright, so there's a cup of tea. Can I still use you? I can. Alright, let's investigate.
A house of artists.
Oh, psychology.
Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Can you be friends with a client? Yes, you can. Investigate.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Chambler. Finally.
So
Why
it'd
did
been
Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
that the Chambler would come out and kill everybody?
A house of artists.
Alright, you got nothing else to say there. Just going outside of here? No, I can't go outside of there. Alright, so just the painting. I mean, this isn't really reconstructing anything, seeing as I have no idea. There was a cup of tea there, and if it had been there for days, I mean, surely the wife would have been using it. I mean, he's been in the asylum for ages, so I'm not exactly reconstructing things.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
Doom! Oh, look, it's a painting of a chandelier. Alright, you've got things to say. Psychology.
She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why?
I don't know how I worked that out. Maybe I succeeded on my 20 there?
He didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated.
Okay, there's the painting. Is there anything else to examine? I figure the painting will be the one which kicks us out. Alright, we'll come back and try and do the music. I expect I will have to listen to it again. Ah, occultism. Not very good at this. Oh, he pulled out his own eyes.
The Chambler. I need to see it.
Not just yet, you don't. There's lots of other things to look around, first of all. Clues? Oh no, I wanted to see how good my occultism was. 35, alright. Inventory. The phonograph recording. Alright, let's have... Alright. Hello, could you play the piece of music that was on here? Oh! Wait, have I got two? No,
Irene,
I've only got the one.
I made
Alright.
a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes.
I
can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Can I
Irene,
just have the music?
I made a
Is there
mistake.
any way? No?
I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more.
Doesn't help that my pen just ran out in the middle of writing this.
Forgive me.
Alright, I'm going to leave you for the moment, as I deem listening to that and getting it exactly right all the time too difficult for right now. Oh, here's a door that couldn't open before. Oh, and I can't open it now. This is the other one. Now this is where Cat is. I'd rather not. Oh, here's a door. Are you likely to need the actual note the music down, not just have Edward play it as needed? Well, I assume... I mean, look, I've got the keys here to do it. So, yeah? Do I think it starts? Or does it start lower? I mean, Edward hasn't made the connection between the fact that there's a piano here, and I don't even know if it does anything. Yeah? I don't know if playing it will open the piano, or whether it's just, you know, hey, there's a piano here and you can do musical things. So therefore you should assume it's a puzzle. And it's not actually a puzzle. I mean, and it's only 4 notes rather than the traditional scale, so...
Irene, I made a mistake.
Give me the thing.
I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes.
Oh, it starts on the very lowest one, but I'm not sure what else
I can't take
there is.
anymore.
I'm going to leave you.
I can't hold him back.
That might be a puzzle that I solve by cheating. Hey, I faced through the door. And all these doors open in 2 directions. Oh, occultist?
A strange Amerindian pendant.
It looks like 2 solutions are possible. Okay. Yes, occultism went up. Am I now professional? Yes, professional occultist. Ooh. Book. The Whale and the Cod. Whale and the Cod, A Brief History of Darkwater by Owen Greenmouth. It's focused on the past glory of the island. Alright. Well, let's go back and do the music now. Let's do the music now. If you could cheat me, I would greatly appreciate that. So you say there are 2 possible solutions. Is that because it varies from game to game, or because it plays 2 different pieces of music? This looks like there's an alternative that also works. Okay. Well, give me the real one, I guess, seeing as it's potentially something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay. Oh god. Yeah, that is very, very simple to do that, isn't it? To see that it's a scale and then it goes back. Oh well.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Art and Mysticism, Forgotten Objects is a collection written by Francis Sanders. In it, he catalogues and categorizes objects from all ages and origins that are linked to occult or mystical practices. It's open to a page of a dagger that bears a symbol that is unknown to me. Not unknown to me. Is this a dagger I see before me? Well, I mean, it's a sketch of a dagger, so yes. And occultism goes up. Go up by another 5%? Awesome. Hey, did you know that your husband hid things? Yeah, well, you do now. So I'm looking for that dagger. Alright, now, let's see what we've got on here. It's a blue thing. More sleeping
I
tablets.
could use one of those.
And these sleeping pills in the Sanders household. Were they prescribed to Francis or to Irene? I mean... I can't quite see. Everybody seems to have sleeping pills in this bottle form. No, nothing there.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning to you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Chambler. Your friend, Sarah Hawkins. Yeah, that is... What changed her mind so radically?
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Another? Have I had a first volume? This volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, begin to speak of their visions as a messenger sent by God. She is scared they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. I want to look at that and see the clues, because I don't think I've seen one of those before. Oh, is it an inventory item? Knowledge. Oh no, I had volume 2. Mention of a brief lost tribe, the worship of entities spoken of in sleep. The whole tribe seemingly disappeared and mass sacrifice to the glory of the deity. But I haven't got volume 1. I wonder if that means I've missed it, or whether it's coming to me out of order. Ah. Strength? Let's look around and see if I can find a key, first of all. Really? Okay. Dissertation on anatomical question. It's the work of a student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the question asked allows us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Medicine progression. Would you read the book? Oh. The question is this anatomy? You know, reading books, when they ask you, will you read the book, will generally lead to me losing sanity. But, yeah, alright, I'll read the book. Beyond reality. This will affect your destiny. Beyond reality achievement unlocked. Malleus Bestiarum, Volume 2. This is a kind of encyclopedia of monsters and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Yeah, cultism has gone up. New entry in diary. All kinds of things. Let's see what we get out of this. Pierce, your sanity went down, right? Yep, sanity dropped. I'm still shaken. Oh, but I've got Malleus Bestiarum. Pierce read an ancient treatise. The Malleus Bestiarum. Bestiary, makes an inventory of numerous creatures from the occult world of parallel dimensions. The very nature of its knowledge makes it an unholy book. By reading it, Pierce lost some of his sanity. Meh, sanity is just another resource. I mean, it really is. Oh, occult. Dimensional Chambler. Oh! Dimensional Chambler comes from dark and unhospitable dimensions, where the rarity of food sources keep it in a state of perpetual starvation. That's not good if it's perpetually starved. Perpetual hunger, certainly. But, I mean, that means it should be weak and not able to do things. Anyway, this is why it is in a constant state of readiness to travel to other dimensions in order to feed on its inhabitants. Make sure you never weaken the veils of your dimension, otherwise you risk attracting this very dangerous creature. Should this happen, you just have to lay eyes upon it for its being to anchor itself in your dimension and allow it to rip you open with its claws. Okay, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Extract taken from the Malleus Bestiarum by Abigail G. Go shotgun. I don't have a shotgun, unfortunately. And the Malleus Bestiarum. Bestiarum. It should be a bestiary, because it shows beasts. Come on. Not a bestiary. It's definitely not the best thing. Anyway, men will gather the knowledge through the lines dictated to me by the great old ones, but also in other volumes. The visions that assail me whisper my names and silhouettes of mystical creatures. Soon the Malleus Monstrum, repository of all anatomical, cosmic, and dimensional knowledge, will be seen as the authoritative work. This book, unholy amongst the most cursed books, will one day be the final rampart between man and the predators that are waiting to devour him. Hidden behind the veils of parallel dimensions. Extract taken from the Malleus Bestiarum by Abigail G. Well, there we go. An inventory? Did we just get the Malleus Bestiarum, did we? Yeah, oh, okay, we got a load of things that I'm just gonna clear. Well, there's that thing, and there's this thing. What is casting that shadow? I mean, I would say it was that stick, but, you know, there's no joining line. There's you to talk to. You're considering that, and there's this thing to force open. I'm going to talk to you, first of all.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Is that eloquence? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. I don't care. You can know. You're dangerous, but I'm not stepping on your toes. Am I? Really?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
Oh, and what are you doing here? Did you see the dagger in the drawing? What are you doing here?
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
Oh, but I wanted to ask you about other things. Oh no, come back. Let me talk to you.
Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
But I wanted to ask you about the dagger. Alright, I missed my opportunity. Fine. Alright, let's strength it open. Yeah. Really? You can do it with default strength? Why even... Maybe I could take points out of strength. And I just didn't try it at the beginning. Oh. Well, I got a key. Key to Sanders' gallery. Alright, open this. Why couldn't I lockpick it with my 100% chance to lockpick things? Is this the gallery? Alright, in we go. This is a big space. I mean, you got anything else to say? No, just All right. Uh-oh, there's the painting over there. Let's not look at it.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Alright, you got a hiding spot. That's good to know. Presumably, I'm looking for the dagger. Right? Where's... no, that's... is it knowledge? It's got to be under knowledge. No, 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 no. Is it a clue? Alright, can I zoom in? F, inspect. There we go, okay. So it's got a star on the handle. An outer sign. It seems to twist. Alright, well let's look out for that dagger. You're not it. You're not it. You're not it. Expect me to say that a lot. You're not it. You're not it. Let's look over here. You're not it. Thanks to the glare. I don't think you're it. Oh, blue what? No, oil lamp. Alright, fill up my oil. Somewhere else to hide. You're definitely not it. And you're not giving me any... I don't think you're it either. You're not it. Oh. You look very...
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
You look very... similar. So you might be it. Okay. Something has been here and covered it over. Alright.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
The fact that he was able to have a manor is pretty impressive. I mean, what did he do? Apart from be an art collector. What are you? Are you more oil? Alright, yeah. Don't know why I need the oil, but okay. It's not very dark right now. Alright. Alright. Now that we've looked at all of these things, let us gaze upon the Chambler. Call it forth. Anything behind you? No? Alright. No hidden objects either, so far. Do not look at the painting, you will call forth the Chambler. Must go look at painting. Yep, yep. Right, do you see... No. Alright, well, this is your own fault for looking at the painting rather than just burning it. Your hair is becoming very disheveled. That must mean that you're mad. Gained 2 CP. Alright, well,
What the hell was that?
the Shambler. But I don't care about the Chambler. I'm going to spend my points. Now I have 100% in an investigation. I am a master investigator. And yeah, let's up psychology. Let's be all psychological. 25% chance. Excellent. A 1 in 3. Sorry, a 1 in 4 chance. Is that my skills? Yeah, okay. No change to my sanity? Well, I don't know, actually. Maybe it looks like it's gone down. Alright, it's moving. Did you see me? Are you coming for me? Possibly. Hide in a closet. Press E. I don't see any closets. I don't care about the closet. I want this knife. Right here. Give me the knife.
Down. This dagger looks different.
Oh, well, you're going to kill me. I mean, does this dagger look different as in it's not the one, or as in it looks different? Damn, that was loud. Is that it looks different as in it looks different from all the others, or as in it looks different from the one in the painting? Enter madness. Alright, yep, we can skip this.
What the hell was that?
Oh. If I run... What if I see you clearly? Yep, sad trombone played. Go away. Oh, you were right there. Fine, alright, just kill me. How sad. More death. Right, and this is the rest of the stream. Skipping that thing and going on with it.
What the hell was that?
I'm not looking at it. You can't tell me it is. Hide in a closet. Alright, I will do if I... Right, then I've got the dagger. Do I attack the creature? Or do I... Right, okay, this is the one.
Down. This dagger looks different.
Damn, did it hear that? Oh, there you are. Can I... No, I can't attack with it. Alright, that's fine. Unless... Death, death, death. Examine the...
What the hell was that?
Oh, objective complete, yeah. Right, I assume I am picking up the right dagger. Because, you know, it sounds different. It looks different. I can't go out that way. Let's try the door, eh? Yeah, fine.
I can't even touch it.
Oh, alright, stupid thing. What if I go hide in here now? Oh, Jesus Christ. Ah. I can't even tell. You are very loud when you are ending.
What the hell was that?
It was the Shambler, as well you know. Looked up the solution. Okay. I assume it is get the dagger and then stab the painting, seeing as stabbing the Shambler didn't seem to do anything. And I assume I am going for the right dagger, because this dagger is different. Unless they are telling me this dagger is different from the one in the picture.
Damn. This dagger looks different.
Nope, I'm hiding in here. I don't know if it is bad for me to hide in here. Like, I mean... Am I going to jump out of here because am I losing sanity by hiding in here? Am I going to gain claustrophobia? Oh, I've still got the 2 CP. Alright, fine. It doesn't look like I'm doing that, so... Yay, it's got the Elder sign on it, yeah. There we go. Yeah, gotcha. Are you being sucked back into the painting, are you? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was a very simple puzzle. And I suspect, had I not looked to find out where the dagger was beforehand... Oh my god.
What's the matter with you?
From beyond, the thing on the doorstep, achievements unlocked. And yeah, had I not looked for the dagger beforehand,
you're losing it, detective.
Then I suspect that would have been more difficult.
At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
I haven't drunk once.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Yes. I'm a professional occultism now. Yeah, alright. I'm going to tell you these things. Painting, it was cursed.
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
Was.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
Oh, really? You didn't hear anything?
I ran, screamed, broke a pane of glass.
Not just cursed, but
You were in the next room
cursed.
and you didn't
Cursed.
hear a thing.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still be in the other room. The door was blocked. I got in as soon as I could.
Okay.
I like to look after my goods.
You mean me?
Ooh,
Don't
no.
flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery.
Of course that's what she means.
And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
Oh, okay. I don't particularly want to piss you off. So I'm just going to say I really should check.
This dagger was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this Chambler, she might have made contact with Drake.
And
this antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult.
It only pushed it
I
back.
have nothing
It didn't
to
kill
lose
it.
by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Don't immediately kick me. I wanted to spend my CP and generally look around the place before that. Did I give the dagger back? And if not Drake, then maybe Yeezy. What is she crying over? Is it because I forced it open? I don't know. There was an empty box. Is it because I didn't tell you the truth? I don't know. Well, my destiny has been forever changed. The Chambler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back to the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the Nameless bookstore. Pierce decided to pay the library a visit. I mean, he later discovered it. I mean, yes, it was later, but it was like seconds after he had done it. Oh well. And something I would like, if I ever wrote books, then I would say my first book would have no title at all, because I think that would be fun to have a book with no title. And then my second one would be called His First Book, so that it would make it even more difficult to ask about in a bookshop. And then my third one would be called No Title. But, you know, I'd have to have ideas for books before I did that sort of stuff. But still. Now, enter the madness of the bookshop. Uh-oh. Blood splatter. Oh, that's somebody punching through an opening from the inside. They cut themselves on the glass as they did it. Inspect the bookstore. Consult diary.
Where's the...
Don't care. Spending CPs. Master. Back to Master Investigator and 25% psychology. I can spot all of the hidden things, and I will know what all of the hidden things mean because of the investigation. But I will have absolutely no idea, absolutely no way of talking anybody around, or of knowing what's going on with the psychology. Do you really want to validate this character point attribution? Yes, but I see sanity as a thing as well. Yep, sanity is definitely lower. Meet the Chambler! It is in Francis Sanders' private gallery that Pierce discovers the identity of the Chambler. A huge artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins. When Pierce approached it, a creature burst forth from the painting and immediately chased after him. This beast from another dimension has such a hold on the mind of a person who finds himself in its presence that a simple glance in its direction is enough for Pierce to lose some sanity. Pierce finally managed to send the Chambler back into the painting using a dagger engraved with a strange symbol. This encounter has left its mark on the psyche of the investigator. Still under the influence of the creature, he almost stabbed his own hand. Sanders' residence, okay. What happened in this room, I will never be able to forget. Painting of the Chambler. The painting was exposed in Francis Sanders' gallery. I think that the creature no longer requires it for movement. He went to hunt down Sanders in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. I do not know where it comes from. One thing it is sure, it's starving. Did I succeed in sending it back to its world? I am not sure. Extract from the notebook of Edward Pierce, private detective. Does that mean that I survive? And here we have the Dagger of the Ancients. This exceptional dagger of Ottoman origin is probably dates from the 16th century. It bears the Elder sign on its hilt. It apparently belonged to Pargali Abraham Pasha, Grand Vizier of the court of Suleiman. Magnificent. Legend tells that Pargali used the symbol of the dagger to protect the court from a creature that haunted the mirrors the mirrors of the palace. What is certain is that Suleiman had his vizier executed. Did he fear him after this demonstration of power? Extract from Arts and Mysticism Francis Sanders, Forgotten Objects. Do I still own that dagger? Because that would be great if I did. Is it in my inventory? No.
Bookseller.
Where is the bookseller? Alright, well, let's look.
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
Oh, do I get psychoanalysis points then, or is this medical? Or maybe neither. This practical work written by Sigmund Freud, the psychologist, describes the techniques of analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially that of free association, a principle announced by Freud at the end of the 19th century. Treat dreams as a way of revealing buried desires. I cannot believe that this theory is applicable to my nightmares. Medicine progression. Yep. And not psychology, as you would think. Why would that not be psychology? But alright. Ooh, the diary.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's
Diary of the Pastor's Wife, Volume 4. The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to the voice in his head, because it holds the truth. I mean, surely I could find enough medical books in here in order to raise my medicine to 100, right? There has to be 50 different books in here on medicine. Mythology, theology. Darkwater History. Harry Campbell, Volume 2. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wickwood settled on the island during the 17th century. Named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar colour of rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviour. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century, which I think we know why that happened, or at least we are learning why it happened because of the thingy's wife, the vicar's wife. Oh, lantern.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers placed truth on the same footing as a religion.
These Tibetan writings are the origin of the esoteric movement founded by Helena Blavatsky. At the end of the 19th century, the creator of Theosophy would have drawn extensively on the text of this work, but no one has ever been able to consult them, thought they didn't exist. This book, discovered in the nameless bookstore on Darkwater, could be as much a fake as irrefutable proof of Blavatsky's sincerity. So, interesting. A volume that nobody even thought existed. Stanzas of Dyson, not book of. Strange Secrets. Occultism went up. I don't know what Strange Secrets is the achievement I got, but hey, there we go. Now I have 55% of occultism. Ooh. Did this book fall from somewhere and shatter something? Was it used? I don't know what's going on there. Alright, well before we go in there, let's finish investigating this room. Oh, skeletons. Handbook of Anatomy and Dissection. As precise and illustrated, with as much detail as the first volume. This book focuses on healing surgery specific to malformations and motor disorders. Another 2%, I expect. Oh, something down here. A crate. Would you read the book? Yeah, let's go completely insane, eh?
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
Oh, it's got pictures of the Chambler. That would have been useful before. This will affect your destiny. This collection catalogues and classifies creatures that I have never heard of. Divinities from the stars, creatures capable of travelling from one dimension to another, presents itself as the reference work on the bestiary of the myth, without giving details on the mythology to which it refers. The pages are covered with phantasmagorical illustrations. Malleus Bestiarum, I've already read that one. But it did give me another 5 points. Malleus Bestiarum Volume 2. Ah, okay, so that was Volume 1. I hadn't realised that. Or I hadn't paid enough attention. That's in the biology section, is it? Biology, mythology. Oh, something down here as well. Breviary of Medicine. Even a few years back, it was possible for a single practitioner to know all the medical knowledge of his time. This book, which now concludes the series, shows that this is now virtually impossible. About 10 renowned doctors took part in putting together this collection. There we go, more medicine points. I guess I must have been... And that is in mythology. Medicine is mythology, apparently. Alright, okay. Could we get a nice illustrated book of Sherlock Holmes? No, we couldn't. Not at 1924 when we are, right? Ooh. Oh, oil. Yes, okay. Hello. Darkwater History, Volume 4. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak of the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the water surrounding Darkwater. This phenomenon appears to have been even more mysterious because, up till then, the region was a favoured refuge for cetaceans. In 1847, after months of pursuit, Celia returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. The crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship. Was that a night of ferocious combat between them and the beast? Or was the beast trying to sacrifice itself to the people, and some of the people went no, no, no? Oh, another phonograph or gramophone. Okay, so that one. This is linguistics. This is archaeology. This one have a... No, it doesn't. Alright. To the back room then, I guess. Oh, weird pink things.
What happened here?
I don't know, I've only just walked into the room. New place discovered the nameless bookstore. I already knew about it. I was in it. Did I do a 2-hour run of Centre Monkey Island? No, I didn't do a 2-hour run of Monkey Island yet. I will do, but I have not done it yet. Or I will attempt to do it, is the thing. Maybe I'll record that and then just put it up on the YouTube channel as well, just to do it. I haven't wanted to go back and do it on the easiest setting. It's the primary reason I haven't done that. I do want to go back and look at the longer writer's edition and see how that's doing. And maybe find the missing book. Handbook on Anatomy and Dissection, Book 1. The least that can be said about this book is that the title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods presented are illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart or the detachment proper to doctors to console its pages. Okay. I did, however, go back to Return to Monkey Island and get the Wait in Line achievement. When there was after the after the earthquake, not LeChuck, yeah, the earthquake had been there. There was a huge line outside the governor's mansion, and if you waited in it for so long, you got an achievement for that. So I did that one.
A strange amulet. I have a feeling I'd better not touch it.
I've just picked it up. Amulet in the shape of a dog. Strange amulet. The pendant is in the shape of a large dog. Don't know what it represents. I might find out more by searching the bookstore. Oh, okay. Well, that gave me occultism, did it? Cool. Oh, I'm almost... Look at that, I'm almost a professional... Amateur, professional, expert, master... Yeah, almost professional. Yeah, it could be a hound, but I mean, they're called Hounds of Tindalos, but they don't actually look like dogs. It's just what we refer to them as. Come on, I'm outside the... Am I still in the reconstruction area? Oh, okay. So the whole thing is a reconstruction area now. Alright, well, I will do that then. Yeah, the item was labelled the Hound. It was labelled... Are you under knowledge? Yeah. Amulet in the shape of a dog. Alright, I inspect this bookstore.
Where did they break in from?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we know they broke in from here. And that's obvious.
Blood.
I said that.
Seems like amateur work.
I said that as soon as I saw the thing. Ah, I'm smart. Alright. This place doesn't look as though they've been ransacking the bookshelves. Oh, I didn't see that, however, before. I would have stepped on it and moved and ruined whatever evidence there was. Saw this. I don't know what that is, though. Well, let's look at this one first of all. Is that a footprint of it coming out of there, is it?
Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably.
Yeah, that's them leaving. Oh, and they're holding their chest as if they've been hurt. There's nothing in there that we can go into. Let's investigate for clues over here. No? Okay. So here they have spilt whatever was on here. Can I... There we go.
This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
That was obviously a failure. Maybe they were drugged, or losing blood, or drunk. And then they came in here, and there's the safe that they were trying to get into. What is all of this? Dead beetles? What?
What killed all these animals?
Here's the crowbar. I had a crowbar earlier. I'm sure it wasn't me, however.
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene?
I don't know.
What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work?
There's an outer sign on there. Well, well, well. Was the thief made of beetles and animals? No, that doesn't make sense. Because they bled when they came in. So let's assume a human assailant. But that has got to be the thing which caused them to flee. And what? Animals and things have been trying to get in there and getting fried by the symbol?
What the... Charles Hawkins?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Getting repelled by his own things. Oh, and he didn't have control of his arm? Because he doesn't quite know how to do it? Alright.
Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins.
Yeah, okay.
Where did I see it?
It was on the dagger for a start. Am I losing my eyesight? Is it encroaching? Yeah, it looks like it's encroaching.
What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess?
They put a book in there that was to be protected.
Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
Did it reject me just then?
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Give me a second, let me just look out here. Alright, yeah, I'll leave my reconstructions now. New objective. Consult diary. Alright, if my new objective is to consult my diary. No, open the safe. Okay. I left for Sanders' home, still shaken by my encounter with the Chambler. Thanks to Cat's indications, I ended up in the nameless bookstore, haunt for devotees of esotericism. Place would have been burglarized. Who could have done such a thing? Charles Hawkins tried to burglarize Algernon Drake's bookstore? How's it possible, given that he is supposed to be dead? But you've seen him alive, so, I mean, that's easy for you to believe. There's a lot more behind the story than a mere conjugal drama. What did Sarah Hawkins and Algernon Drake try to hide in the latter's safe? So Algernon Drake, the owner of the bookstore, also knew Sarah Hawkins. Their relationship went far beyond that of a seller and a faithful client. She helped him to protect an object. I hid it in the back room safe, and Sarah Hawkins painted this strange symbol on the door. Charles Hawkins must have wanted to steal it. I must open the safe and find out what's hidden inside. How can I find the combination? I don't quite know. Oh, I got a new insanity, did I? No, my sanity just dropped a hell of a lot. Fine. Fine. Prices. There was bookstore. Occult. There was a thing. Oh no, okay, it's labelled the hound in the occult bit, but the item itself is just statue of a dog. Interesting. Do not make the mistake of taking this jewel for an inanimate object. Soul of a powerful sorcerer, devourer of bodies of the Leng cult, sect from Central Asia, lies in this jade amulet. Its very charismatic form, a massive hunting dog. Oh, his very characteristic form, sorry, not charismatic. Characteristic form, a massive hunting dog, represents the transformation of the sorcerer into a man-eating ghoul. Whoever unearths the amulet and wears it around his neck is at risk of the sorcerer's wrath. The latter will return, in the shape of a formidable hunter, to track and dismember all defilers. Extract taken from the Malleus Bestiarum. Bestiarum. Like Abigail. We got clues, the burglary, mine, and then an inventory. We got more knowledge in the inventory. I wish there was a way to just clear all of these at once. Alright, so how do I find the code for the safe?
Things are not looking good.
I wonder if that is a comment on us being white and the Cthulhu mythos being the forces of evil. Darkness. I guess so. Hello? Oh, right, yes, I will fill up my oil again. I should look at the safe. I mean, I know it needs 3 dials. Oh my god, look at all these things. And these things. Okay. So, change locks, rotate. Oh, okay, I see. I see. Alright. Okay. Alright, we'll leave you and try and work out. Yeah, okay, horrid whisperings coming from the safe. Understood. Oh. Oh yes, this is where I saw you in the
Drake left
thing.
instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
Page seems to be hidden here. It is possible to read. Somebody finds these memories. There will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality, in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother, if she is still of this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Okay. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of the imagination. Indeed, despite my preferences for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I would ask that they deliver its contents into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Miskatonic University. The contents of the safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, also a weapon that is far too dangerous for it to fall into the wrong hands. Hello! I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents and that you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you nor to suffer from your actions. From you actions, sorry. I will not suffer from you actions. Alright. So, mythology. Well, let's have a look around and see if my vast... Oh,
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
looks like it. Item obtained sleeping pills. Oh, and a book.
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
This key bears the Elder Sign, and is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch whose purpose is to push back the forces of the Great Old Ones were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antiques dealer. In breast cuttings that mention the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of Hawkins' trips. Off to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows of the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. Alright. Alright, and now I need to find where Greek mysticism.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
Written by Hermias Trismegistus, translated and edited by Nathaniel M. Kopoulos. A collection of texts on different beliefs were written by a legendary philosopher. It includes a translation of the Emerald Tablet, a popular text among 16th century alchemists. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a curious collection of treatises and works on the esotericism and the supernatural.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
This is volume 2. So am I looking for the volume numbers? Alright, okay. There's a load of stuff here to look at. Alright, let's go over them.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Things That Should Not Be. Collection of essays on American folklore and urban legends, written by Albert Worthmore, professor at Miskatonic University. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on the esoteric and the supernatural.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
No, okay. And you?
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Linda. An ancient Frisian manuscript, translated by William R. Sandbeck. The text claims that in the distant past, Europe and other continents were controlled by the mothers of his people, and moreover, our alphabet is derived from the Frisian language. I think any of that is... I need to reread that. No, not the key. Not the burglary. The key of Riley file, okay. Well, thanks for telling us that. This we found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
A collection of long-term astrological predictions written in verse, written by Nostradamus, translated by E. Leon and Theophilus Widebridge. The volume is part of the Arkham Anthologies. Okay.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
An opera Arkham Anthology Volume 8, Massi de Requiem per Shogge? Opera in 8 acts by Benvenuto Chieti Ruggiero, an infamous lyrical work published in Italy in 1768. It's said that the opera was performed only once, resulting in the audience riot that left several dead and missing.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
The Key of Solomon, the Book of Spells, supposedly written by the legendary King Solomon, contains various rituals of invocation and rituals of curse. Re-edition by Claudia D. Waits, based on L. W. Delorme's edition.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Azathoth and Other Horrors. Collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby. Also known as the Nightmare Lyrics, this collection of poems was sensationally received when first published in 1908. Derby was only 18 years old.
Arkham Editions.
Isis Unveiled.
Never heard of him.
Book of Esoteric Philosophy, and a key text in Madame Blavathy's Theosophical Movement. Written by Helen Petrovna Blavatsky. You want one? I mean, you look like you really should be one. I've seen all of these, right?
How many volumes are there in this
Yeah,
collection?
the prophecies.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Yeah, alright. None of those were Greek, though. I mean, Roman and Greek coincide, but they're not. Okay. Oh. Aha!
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Alright, okay. So, this is the point where... Wait, how many cylinders do I have? I thought I only got 2 there. Oh, I got all 3. Alright, and that will tell me about where it is. Okay, so this is... Alright, so this is where... supposedly where it resided. I didn't see what was on the other side of that. Alright. You're in here. Let's have Drake Cylinder 1.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Okay, uncertain what that means. I guess I'm looking for red drops.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods.
Okay,
Let
chessboard.
those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Alright, count the number of pieces on the chessboard.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay, so that might just be 9. So how many
The
pieces?
Queen has little protection.
1, 2, 3, 4. That was number 2?
I finally
Yep,
understood that we were only pieces on
Okay,
the
so
chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still
4
standing
something
protect
9?
our White Queen
Oh,
from
well, let's
their
look at
dark soldiers.
Azathoth.
See our number dwindling.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Yes.
What did Drake say about this collection?
My
I was looking for the others.
Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes
there
that
it
Drake
is.
was talking about in his
Volume
message.
9. He was only 18 years old. But I can't get 18 on here.
To be the playthings of destiny.
I mean, the second one was a 4. And this is volume 9. And I'm looking for some sort of red droplets in something gold. Unless you're talking about the number of sections, that doesn't make sense to me, though. There can be 1,000 combinations if I've got all of the things wrong. But yeah, if I don't see something around here, that is pretty much what I'm going to do. I mean, I would like to know why the answer is the answer before I... the Grail.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
Alright, starting with this crack, we've got... Let's count them round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So, might have got the answer. Did that open? No. Maybe it's pieces not including the Queen? Yeah, pieces not including the Queen. There we go. What, don't... Alright, you do that, you weirdo. You brush off the dust off of one bit of the book, and then you continue to brush the same bit where the dust is. Where you've just brushed the dust off. And not the rest of the ones with the dust. Is that written on human skin? Chess pieces defending the Queen. Yep. I would like it if that was semi-randomized as well. The answer to that safe. But I don't suspect it is. This doesn't feel like that kind of a game. The book. Achievement unlocked. Riverside Institute. In the nameless books, or P.S. traced the trail of an attempted burglary. He discovered that Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened the bookseller safe to find out what the latter and Sarah Hawkins had hidden there. What? The book covered in human skin lied inside, irresistibly attracting the detective. When he opened it, his mind was projected into another body. Really? Okay. I'm glad it told me that, because I didn't know what that was. I thought I was just, you know, experiencing a psychotic break and going to be back in the Institute. Well, that makes no sense. He discovered that Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened the bookseller's safe to find out what the latter and Sarah Hawkins had in there. I suppose if you're referring to the bookseller, that could be the latter. But usually I would expect a name. Anyway, alright. Enter madness.
Dr.
Game's over.
Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me?
Okay.
I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
Doesn't mean there's nothing we can do. Alright, examine the patient. This is just an excuse for me to be Dr. Colden and get murdered, right?
Very well.
Without
examine
actually
him.
being murdered. Alright. Do I have... What skills do I have? I'm still Pierce, am I? Oh, I can't click on Pierce. So I will never know what... What's this down here? What have we got for them? Oh, more blue bottles. Alright. So... Oh, okay.
Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Doesn't seem like an edema. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the presence of a foreign body.
Okay, something in there.
His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated.
So...
His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin. Tender at the touch. Slightly sticky.
Ew.
30-year-old subject. Severe hypothermia. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums. Necrosed palpebral tissue. Lord, this smell.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
Severely
I'm not sure I
dehydrated.
have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Yeah, you
Don't
do.
say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Many things. Yeah, something in his belly. So his limbs is warrant he's severely dehydrated. Let's say he's severely dehydrated to begin with.
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail.
Oh,
And
okay.
you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier,
He seemed to feel better?
yes, like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion.
Alright.
But that doesn't explain his condition.
No, but it will treat it. Get him into... Maybe he's got a squid living in his belly.
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain it's not an edema?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger won't leave a trace. And look at these bumps.
It's not like he could be pregnant.
Maybe
Whatever
he
it
could.
is, this man has something inside him that shouldn't be there. We should operate on him at once.
Dr. Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
You know, I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth.
Alright, and the state of his limbs is worrisome,
In spite
apparently.
of the muscle contractions, his arms seem limp.
Yes. They can't have decalcified, not at this rate.
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's softer than that of a newborn baby. What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch. It does seem like the skull of a baby.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be happening?
I'm sure you'll find an explanation.
Sticky rings. Is he...
You have
yeah,
to.
tentacle suckers. Yeah, his body is changing.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not those usually associated with the human species.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you believe in extraterrestrials.
1924,
No.
we're a bit early for that.
This poor man is from our world, all right. But his body is undergoing unnatural mutations. And this transformation is killing him. His body simply can't cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
From the
Dr.
meat.
Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
I'm
What
examining them.
How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients. Provide him with the best available care.
What
Your
is with all this
imagination is without limit.
stuff
It's your
flying around the
homemade drug
screen?
again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There, there. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
Your symptoms are worrisome.
These are alarming symptoms. If we don't act, he'll die.
Do you believe that? I'm not as convinced, you see. I even think this man has a strong chance of completely healing from his ailments.
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore. He's dying.
He's turning into a
Really?
squid.
What do you mean by isn't himself?
He's changing. His physical characteristics, they are more animal than human now.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Could you be more precise? Cephalopod, perhaps?
Indeed, exactly.
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for knowledge, Doctor. It's your innocent worries for this man that have you overreacting.
For this man, and the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
I don't know.
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder and one of our profession's most influential voices. My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest, I will only ruin my reputation and career.
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything? Is there no evidence of his crimes?
Maybe. Hidden files are proof. Nobody mentioned crimes. Lovely, lovely crimes.
Oh, that evidence exists. I'm sure of it. I need to find the missing medical files.
And where would you find those? In his office? What if you get caught?
I don't know whether
I'd
you're...
rather not think about that. I'm counting on your discretion.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep Mum.
Yeah, see, I don't know whether you're a rhetorical device for telling, or a tutorial device, I guess, for telling me what my next objective is and explaining what we're doing here, or whether you are somebody who's going to turn me in because I have told you all of the things. What's here?
An unknown medicine. Judging by the other ones, it causes heavy side effects.
Can I? No, I can't look at Pierce. Alright, get into Fuller's office. Alright. See, I'd like to know what my medicine skill is. Uh-oh, it's a hiding cabinet.
This place draws you in and never lets you go.
So we're 26th of October, are we? Okay. No, wait. I mean, those crosses don't match anything that are on there. So I'm not sure. I think we're on the 28th. High security unit.
The answers must be hidden in Fuller's office.
That's probably where I came from then, right?
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
Okay, so I can sabotage the water. I don't know why I want to sabotage the water right now. So let's instead finish investigating this room.
Chronic insomnia. Like half the island.
Oh, and that's why everybody has Sleeping tablets, I see. You got anything else to say to me? Nope. Alright. Let's investigate in this direction first of all.
Hay fever. What's he doing here?
Yeah, that does seem weird. My eyes are streaming.
Doctor, please. My chest. Oh.
His
Also,
perfusion of a semi-physiological solution doesn't seem to work. He's undergoing a ventricular fibrillation.
Okay. Do you just want me to go over there and press the button? Oh, I can only press the button
Nurse?
from here.
Deborah, come and help me, please. His potassium level is too high. Replace it with 2% glucose solution with insulin, calcium, and sodium bicarbonate.
I'll tend to it right away.
Thank you. He's in your hands.
I was gonna make a similar joke. Yeah, but yeah, severe clipping issues is great. I love that. Yeah, it's warm over here. Alright, I don't know what that is a picture of. Alright. How's he doing? His head seems to be weirdly stretching out as well. Alright, you fix him.
He broke his back in an accident down by the docks.
I can talk to you.
The whaling station. What's
No.
wrong with me?
I'm the doctor.
What are you talking about?
Doctor, that you?
Yes, it's Dr. Colden. Tell me what happened.
It's the old whaling station. See?
Nope. The bootleggers?
The one that hides the smuggling business.
Oh no, not them. They don't go on that side of the island.
Oh.
Everyone in his place. The captain on one side, Cat on the other, and me. Well, I've been to the whaling station, I have.
What did you see there?
Nothing. Nothing at all. The floor was all rotten and I fell straight through.
And that's how you broke your back.
You have a
Perhaps.
really long
No
neck.
idea. Passed out. I'll just sleep a bit more.
Alright. What about you?
Why did nobody tell me about her admission?
Irene Sanders! So I'll describe the state in which Irene Sanders entered the Riverside Institute, as well as the treatments administered to her. While adding a handwritten note, he recommends to take her down to the psychiatric wing in order to provide her with quiet and the rest she needs. New clue memorized.
Mrs. Sanders?
She is mannequin-like. Alright, well, who else have we got in here who we can treat? That's more of those blue bloody bottles. Okay. Oh, you've got
She
a
recently came back from the surgical block. She's stable. Given her file, a nephrectomy would have been inevitable. But Fuller was able to save her kidney.
thing. Good for Fuller.
Intoxication from breathing organic vapors.
So, a glue sniffer? Or the like? Are we talking hallucinogens? Look, he's suffering from clipping issues too. Out of his trousers is going through the dirty rags that he's wearing. Alright, let's look at all the people before we go over there.
Another insomniac. I should find the cause for such a widespread trouble.
I mean, yeah, if it was medical in nature and not, or biological in nature and not Cthulhu in nature, that would be a thing. Oh, somebody's got out of the bed. What's going on here? Why is the man who should be who is in a straitjacket here? Do you want to say anything?
Dr. Colden, here you are at last.
Here you are
This
at last.
patient was again brought up to the psychiatric wing. We've been following the treatment you prescribed, but the dysgeusia persists and he's lost a great deal of weight. We haven't been able to move him. The stress makes him hyperallergic.
Hyperallergic
Sir,
to what?
I'm going to examine you. Do you understand? Inject him with a dose of pentobarbital, intramuscular, so that I can conduct the clinical examination.
Alright, well, there we go. Medicine.
He bit his lips so much, they're still bleeding. White froth, evidently because of such drooling.
So, do I need to talk to you now? No? Ah, there's something down here. Alright.
His binds left bloody wounds.
So, Doctor, what should we do with this patient?
Nah, just chuck him on the heap at the back. Yeah, I would say the patient has been mistreated.
Those basement brutes tied him up too tight, and now he's hurt.
Exactly.
I keep trying to heal his wounds, but he reopens them.
Do you have a diploma as a nurse?
Excuse me?
So take care of this man.
Wow. You're a dick. Doctors and nurses should be working together.
What is the boiler room key doing here?
Well, take
the
it.
Key to the boiler room.
Oh,
Not where I expected to find it.
Do I have to come back and now that I... Oh, alright, fine, we'll do... I mean... We'll do non-video game logic. Want to pick it up. Hello. How are you?
Gentlemen, may I help you?
We're waiting on news regarding our mother, Maureen Harding. She came in with a kidney problem, but we haven't heard anything since.
Oh, it's her. Alright. Yeah, I saw her. She's fine.
I've tended to her, and I have good news.
Her kidney has been saved!
Her kidneys are as new.
Are you talking about the same person? This is miraculous.
I don't know. Come and have a look.
She's still
Is this your
recovering,
mother?
but you may speak to her upon her awakening.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. We'll wait for her to wake up. We've been here since this morning.
Hippocratic
so it won't
Oath
make a
achievement
difference.
unlocked. Whatever that is. Kitchen. I desperately need to get something to eat. Oh god, a hiding door. That's not great.
Patients and hospital personnel eat the same food.
Does that mean I'm going to drug it later on, does it? Hello?
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
No, you're pulling my leg. I'm not joking. I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch, Donovan?
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl. And the answer is no. You can imagine that she doesn't dare say a thing. That silly goose lets herself be trodden on.
Oh well, at least we won't have to clean for a while.
Okay.
And just wait and see the next time the water's cut off. It's a real show.
Alright, so am I meant to make her go and confront Donovan, or cut off the water, or both?
Dr. Colden?
Alright. That's the only thing you want to say to me. Medicines and Secret Sciences. It's a very interesting book, aimed at a wide public. Demonstrates how non-recognized sciences have influenced modern medicine. Magnetism, grandmother secrets, Chinese acupuncture, hypnotism, herbal medicine, alchemy, and many others have contributed to a certain extent to the enrichment of medicine at the beginning of this century. Oh, do I not get any points for that? I might have messed myself up. Hey, you at the back. Where did that nurse go who was coming in this general direction? She didn't go in here, did she? Nope. That's an area I haven't been to yet. Aha!
Dr. Colden?
Yep, okay, so now you're just doing rounds. Can I talk to you about this person?
Dr. Colden?
Nope. Alright. How is our person doing? No? Fine. Let's keep looking. Let's go to the place that is here. The bathroom. No, not here. This one.
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up.
Oh, okay.
And I'm the one who pays. What a...
Elizabeth? You all right? Why is this room in such a state?
Because, as always, I'm cleaning it by myself. And the water was once again shut off this morning. I had to bother Mrs. Donovan again, giving her a new excuse to belittle me.
Stand up for yourself.
Do you really need Mrs. Donovan to open a valve? Why not ask the janitor?
I can't make these decisions without her approval. Imagine if there were a leak. Anyhow, the boiler room is locked half the time. So every time the water gets shut off, I have to go and endure her reproach until she's settled the problem.
I see. Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, there's a vent. I bet if I were Pierce, I would be climbing into that vent. That is how water works. That is definitely how water works. Alright, well what if I go and steal the key? Then Donovan will be permanently distracted. Nope.
The key to the boiler room.
Alright, I'll have to
Not
wait
where
until
I
I
expected to find
understand what's going on. How is this guy doing? Oh, alright.
Everybody says it. She's a witch.
I want to
an
see
old
this
hag.
water once
I didn't
again.
make
This
this
was
up.
great.
And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
Come on, water. Do your thing. Oh. I have never seen water behave in such a amazing manner before. Oh, what room is this? Locker room. Alright. I know I haven't got 100 spot hidden anymore, but you know, there must be things for me to spot in this area. Still need to get into Fuller's office. Are you the nurse? Aha! The reference book of medical sciences. Like a dictionary, this work references in alphabetical order all the medical sciences known and practiced in the modern world. Each of its entries, the major works, and the names of the reference authors are listed. I wonder if I should be waiting and picking those up when I am Pierce again. Or whether I am storing those up, and Pierce will suddenly have a bunch of skills. Hello, are you Donovan?
I have little time for you,
Yep.
Doctor. You'll find out that it's not only the doctors who have things to do.
Alright, well, I mean... Are you going to stop me
Wait a
from going
minute.
in?
Where do you think you're going?
Okay.
Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office.
Aha!
But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I
All
will
right.
tell him, nonetheless.
Alright, so that is... Alright, is there another entrance? Hello? Nope. Hello? Nope. Pharmacy. This is the other side of there. Yeah, alright, then let's have a look. Hello?
We're running out of this medicine.
I know, Doctor. We sent the purchase order, though, and Mrs. Donovan refused it.
Once again.
What?
Can't you do anything?
Donovan takes her instructions directly from Dr. Fuller. I'm afraid I can do nothing about it for the moment.
Alright, well. Secondary direction. Distract Donovan, cut off the water. Anyway, I've... Umaru Delinque? Pseudo-scientific work by Cesar Lombroso correlates an individual's morphology with his criminal predispositions. The seriousness of this study and the accuracy of the demonstration can deceive an uninformed reader. Alright.
We've been waiting to be restocked for weeks.
Well, maybe we should go and... Oh.
The doses prescribed by Fuller are far too high.
Prescription for the barbiturate signed by Dr. Fuller. That's another clue.
The door to the boiler room is locked.
You're going to tell me?
Where did I see that key?
I know exactly where I saw that
yes.
key.
The office in Block B.
Indeed. He's a Fuller what?
Let's hope I can go through the administration office.
He's a Fuller Cthulhu. That's what he's a Fuller. Surgical ward.
The operating room is never accessible after an operation.
Oh, okay, so I will never be able to go in there. Alright.
Thank you for your help, Doctor.
Thank you. I'll be going.
Okay.
This man, Edward Pierce.
No.
His file is incomplete. What did Fuller do to him?
The file is strangely incomplete and the detail on treatment is not given. Does not respect standard practice. I mean, if they are printing out books, or if they have a book for every person who comes in like this, I am highly doubtful that there is enough paper on the island to do any of that. Got anything else?
Colden.
No.
I'll be going.
Do-do.
In theory, this is where we hang the key to the boiler room. Dr. Fuller always keeps his key with him.
Alright, and look, there's key to the washroom, but I can already get in there, and the surgical ward. Alright, but for some reason I don't want to pick up either of those. Hello?
Dr. Colden.
Is that it? Okay, we're just going to say Dr. Colden. Oh, if I ask you, are you going to say, can I now say, where is the key?
Colden.
No,
I'll
alright.
be going.
Might be because I already know where the key is. And yeah, okay, this is that place. That's great. Hello.
It's a quiet little town. Days go by, steady as ever. I wanted more for myself, but...
Why are you telling the doctor this? I ran away!
There's no way I'm leaving until I find what Fuller is hiding.
I don't get why they have us waiting so long. Almost no patients here.
Hey, Bradley. 1 second. I will talk to you as soon as I'm done talking to everybody
Where
else.
did my fiancé go? I hope those nutcases will stop burdening her with work.
Ah, she's a, thingamajob.
Sorry, but nobody can take anything until I finish the inventory.
Cool. I don't want to take anything.
Please. The fewer interruptions there are, the faster I'll be finished.
Maybe I do want to take something from there. I don't know. Yeah, okay, that's the surgical ward again. You're the fiancé one. Let's talk to Bradley then. Hey, dead man.
Ethan.
Marie,
What are you doing here?
I'm waiting for my medication, of course. Why?
Aww. Medicine master. I am a medicine master. Psychology master as well. You're a bad liar.
You're not here for treatment, right?
Am I so obvious?
Only to me. I know you worry about me.
Ah,
I trust you.
romance.
And
Romance
how
in
did
the
you see
time
it?
of cephalopods.
Me too, Ethan. Is that all?
Well, there might be something else. I'm not sure.
Tell me.
I have nightmares. They keep me awake every night. It seems stupid, I know, but they're terrible.
Actually, you're not the only one.
Everybody on the island.
No.
Or almost everybody.
No one has ever seen the things I see. It's like I'm turning mad.
Seems like an affliction for everybody on the island.
So many people have this affliction. It's like an epidemic.
Do you think it might be related to Fuller's work?
I don't know yet, but I will figure all this out. Everyone in Darkwater is suffering from nightmares.
Really?
We don't have any medication left.
Oh, there's no excuse then. I should let you work.
Take care, Ethan.
You too, Marie.
Wait a second. A chess piece is defending the queen? That's not how chess works. That's not how chess works at all. What weird variation of chess are they playing on this island where they have the queen be the most important piece, which can leap everywhere all over the board, and not the king, who is the central piece in there? I mean, maybe they renamed it so that the king and queen have swapped position, and now it's the king who moves everywhere and the queen who must be defended. But what a weird variation on chess. I think this island deserves to go mad. Alright, let's go get the boiler room key. Boiler room key. Go on, say your line then. The key to the boiler room? No? Okay, fine.
The key to the boiler room.
Oh, you have to wait.
All I have to do is shut off the water and hope Donovan takes the bait.
Yay! I will drive this woman. Oh, and then I guess later on I can go and get the medication and put it all in there and everybody will go to sleep. Alright. So.
She's a witch, an old hag.
I am so sorry, Nurse Elizabeth.
And I'm the one who pays.
So
What
sorry.
a pest. It's so unfair.
But okay. You're about to be... Have I been this way? Oh, this is that door. Yep. It's over here. Unlock the boiler door and go on in and hope nobody looks at me. Presumably just turn that wheel. Whee!
I can't shut this with my bare hands. I need a tool.
Find a tool. I haven't come across a tool. Unless I can use Bradley. Is he a tool? Officer Bradley? I don't know what kind of tool I am looking for. I don't know what kind of tool enables you to turn a wheel. I mean, you can put a bar through the wheel and then turn it.
An old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays.
Yeah,
It's
we know.
temperamental, if I understand correctly.
So unfair.
Hey, do you have anything to say about tools?
Everything all right, Dr. Colden?
All is
No,
well,
water
Elizabeth,
physics don't
thank you.
work.
I was making sure the water wasn't cut off yet again.
Thank God,
Yet.
no. The
Again,
water's running.
yet again, not just
I
yet.
have no desire to call Donovan for help.
Alright, hang in there.
Come now. Don't let that witch sap your morale.
I'm trying, Doctor. I'm trying. It's just that sometimes I imagine she shuts down the water herself, just for the pleasure of harassing me.
Her time is much too precious for these.
I mean, if she did, then she would have a tool somewhere, or be incredibly strong.
Thank you, Doctor.
I mean, a crowbar. I mean, yes, you just need a metal bar to put between the wheel, so that it gives you greater leverage for turning. So a crowbar would work, but I don't know if I've seen a crowbar. I mean, I wouldn't have expected to see one here in the medical wing. Hey,
Dr. Colden?
Do you have a crowbar? How's he doing, nurse? Nope, still suffering from clipping issues. Ah, fireplace poker might work. No?
Dr. Colden?
Man, you really do have... Wait.
I'll just sleep a bit more.
Alright, you sleep a bit more. Could I find a tool, please? I wonder if it's in that... in that storeroom that was being done with. Where's the nurse who was meant to be treating your issues? No? Hey, Dr. Bradley. Oh, Dr. Bradley. Officer Bradley. Do you want to come and do a thing for me?
Is everything all right, Ethan?
Yeah, I know I should go.
I will work until late.
Oh. All right.
I didn't find a crowbar before, right? Hello, person.
Dr. Colden.
Do you know where there's a crowbar?
I'll
No?
be going.
Alright. Well, this is the place I was here before. Oh, there's a hidden object in here. Oh. There we go. Monkey wrench. That has got to be the tool. The tool of a genius like me. Nobody notices me coming in here. No, well, I'm singing my song.
I feel guilty about Elizabeth, but I need the diversion.
I'm gonna go and see Elizabeth. See what's going on. How you doing?
Dr. Colden, might there be a problem with the water?
I was about to mention it. It seems it's been cut off yet again.
I can't take this, Marie. I feel I'm gonna burst.
It's not your fault
smack
if we have
smack it down.
Plumbing.
And yet, I'm the one who gets punished because I'm gonna have to square off with that annoying old witch. Courage, Elizabeth. Here we go. And hold your tongue this time.
Nah, shout back at her. New objective, consult diary. What's the new objective? Get into Fuller's office. That's still the same objective, but alright. Go back to Elizabeth. I had to do that. Alright, okay. Alright. Onwards then. You're going that way, are you? Why are you going that way? Oh, because he's in here.
Mrs. Donovan?
I'm busy. Elizabeth, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. But it's about the water.
What now?
It's off. It's not my fault.
Well, I'm glad that you stuck around for the great crowbar mystery.
Even if I know it's not your strong
You
point.
have a good time.
I've apologized 1,000
I will
times.
continue.
I haven't counted that many. But then, unlike you, I don't have time to keep track.
Please, Mrs. Donovan. I'm grateful to you for having kept me on despite that incident. I just need the water to be put back on. Otherwise, the bathroom will quickly become a nest of germs.
Oh, very well. I'll finish what I'm doing, and then I'll fix your blunders once more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Out of my sight. Go chatter with your colleagues. That's what you do best.
I wonder if I should have gone now, while she was doing things. She's not chattering with her colleagues. Look, she's gone straight back to documenting things with a clipboard that she pulled out of somewhere. I don't want to speculate where. There's an apple. I wonder if it will keep. Well, I should move away from it. Because I am the doctor.
At last. The missing files must be hidden here.
There's a hiding place.
I should go another way.
No. Here's another door. Alright, okay. Well. There's him and all the nurses. Alright, what's that?
The Stendal Syndrome. Of course. This is where Fuller found his diagnosis for Francis Sanders.
Oh, study on the Stendal Syndrome. A particularly rare mental illness. Subjects display mental disorders linked to an exposure to works of art. Interesting. Okay. But... is that it? Oh, no. Okay. The cellar.
Something is wrong with these masts. It's some sort of puzzle.
Alright. Well, what should they look like? Is there a picture of the cellar in here? No? Alright. There's a phonograph. Or a Victrola. Or is this one a gramophone? Well, they're reading wax cylinders, so they're not going to be gramophones. They're phonographs. There's no picture of the boat, so I'm just gonna...
Something is wrong with these masts. It's some sort of puzzle.
Oh, okay. There
I've
you go.
unlocked something.
That was simple
Patient
enough.
files.
The
I was
white
right.
chip. I mean, I knew what I was doing amazingly. I was great with that. It wasn't that I was testing out each individual thing to see what happened when I turned it, so that I would have an idea and could then turn correctly. But patient files. Senator was hidden inside Fuller's office. He's recorded his thoughts about one of the many psychoanalysis sessions he submitted Sarah Hawkins to. Alright, is that it? And now I'm going to play it on the phonograph. And then, because I am doing sound, somebody's going to come in and attack me.
Conclusions. Session number 17.
Oh.
Patient? Sarah Hawkins.
This finger belonged to a woman. Why keep it here?
Accepted the illusory nature of what she calls the mythos.
Oh.
It goes without saying that these peculiar delusions are the price that comes with her exceptional gifts.
There's a shoe. I've seen that shoe before.
Why is Ethan on medication?
Is that all of them? Okay, I found all of them. Now I should be listening to what you're saying. But look, there's the shoe over here. Whose shoe was that? Oh, it was Sarah Hawkins. Wasn't it? The burned shoe that was on there. Yeah.
Why does Dr. Fuller write psychological reports about Sarah Hawkins?
What do you mean, why does he write them about her?
I presumed that her blood was the key. But I found nothing to explain Mrs. Hawkins' abilities.
Let me go back over here. Nope, still not gonna make me interact with that? Okay. Whose finger is it? Is it your finger? When was it blown off in the fire or something?
The
I
poor
would
souls
expect it to be
downstairs are not Fuller's
crispy
only
then.
subjects.
Then James came, irate that Charles was keeping secrets from him.
Oh?
I presume that he will try to break into the basement sooner or later.
Alright, interesting.
I am prepared.
Psychology, I'm a master psychologist, so 100%.
Hawkins, Fitzroy, and Fuller. What is the connection between these three?
It is fortunate that I had the presence of mind to set the morgue in the basement. When all the fuss about the Hawkins incident finally comes to an end, I will dispose of her belongings.
Ah.
In the meantime, they must remain hidden in plain sight.
Aha! I knew the shoe would eventually come up. Alright, let's psychoanalyze the shoe.
Of course. Sarah Hawkins is the connection.
How is she the connection? And I have a reconstruction to do. Alright. A memory within a memory. Let's do that.
I must go back to the basement.
Oh. I thought that was going into. Okay, go down to the psychiatric basement. Okay. This is the only way out. Nobody saw me. Hello, Mrs. Donovan. Nope. Hello, Elizabeth. Nope. Bathroom men. What is it about these weird bathroom men? Are they men made out of toilets? What is it? I mean, there's nothing in here that shows me it's specifically male bathroom. I mean, those were those old weird... These ones don't have lids. Those old weird things, and that one's... Maybe that's big enough for a neck? I'm not sure. Or a head? But surely it would be more towards the centre. Not the back, because otherwise you're going to smash your head on the wall. Well, yeah, they were weird washing things, I'm not sure. Or steam things. Not entirely certain.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
Go down into the psychiatric wing. Do I not have the key for it? No, I do have it. High security unit, authorized personnel only. I am authorized. I'm probably authorized to die. Alright, okay, this is the top of the bit where we collapsed at the bottom as Pierce. Where all the hallucinogenic gas was coming out. Yep. Oh my god. This is where that's the sound doesn't it? His end? Alright, okay. This one it is then. Oh, how unsurprising.
Ah, now that's the Marie that I know. I knew I could count on your scientific curiosity. It's time to show you what you were so eager to discover.
Jeez, man. I mean, okay, she's down in the basement where nobody is looking, but still. Now I am Pierce. I have a gun?
If you're gonna shoot me, at least have the decency to look me in the eyes.
Turn around.
Oh,
Slowly.
Algernon. Yeah, Algernon Drake. Okay. His name hadn't appeared when I was
Talk,
trying to think.
filthy thief!
Oh, I swear I'll shoot.
Cool. It was Charles Hawkins. You're not a killer. Can't do that one. Not a eloquence master. Not a strength expert. And I'd done nothing wrong. I unlocked the answer. I mean, presumably I would have unlocked the answer at all stages. Maybe not. Maybe I was better. Maybe I got lucky and did a thing. But anyway.
Take a minute to look around. Everything points to Charles Hawkins.
He's dead.
No, he isn't.
He was here for a very specific item.
The item that I got.
No.
The book. Why was it in the safe?
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Answer the question.
How foolish of you. Now you won't be able to escape his will. What did it show you?
I'm not an occultism master. So at this point, I could be a master. I must be able to put... I mean, I can put in 8 points at the beginning, which is worth 5 per thing. So that would put me up 40. And I'm at 65 now, I think. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I can overspend as well. Alright. But maybe I wouldn't have found all of the occultism items I have found if I didn't have my spot hidden so high. So I don't know. Alright, but Marie Colden was there.
She went into Fuller's office. She was looking for Sarah Hawkins' corpse.
Sarah Hawkins, you say?
I mean...
Let's go back to the start, shall we? Whose life did the Necronomicon choose to show you?
Dr. Colden. She was at the Riverside Institute. She's in danger. I have to go.
Wait. No one knows the occult better than me. You might need my help.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, I will accept your help. Man who will die easily.
All right. All right.
Scholar of the Unspeakable.
All.
Achievement unlocked.
Perfect.
This will affect your destiny.
Let's meet later at the Hawkins mansion.
Alright.
Now go. Rescue the doctor.
End of chapter. Brum, brum. My hair's back in its coiffured place. It looks better than it did do when I was taking on the Chambler. And caught in the trap, achievement unlocked. The book protected Pierce in the body of Dr. Colden. The detective watched helplessly as Bradley's friend carried out her inquiry. Confronted with the experiments of Fuller, she got into his office and discovered that the director of the Riverside Institute was hiding information on, if not the body of, Sarah Hawkins. But she was discovered by Fuller. Pierce must save her before it's too late. Well, let's have a look at this thing, and then I'll decide whether we end here or not. Enter madness. Yeah, okay, no. Let's just decide to end it here today. We'll look at this cutscene.
I pray that Colden is really here. And alive.
Consult. Not exciting, we got lots of knowledge. Look at all these knowledge-ages. Psychological studies. Got loads of clues from chapter 8. Medical records, prescriptions, Sanderson's, Fuller's notes. We've got new things on Algernon Drake, the bookseller who we saw at the beginning, who was sitting in the bar. Algernon Drake is the owner of the Nameless Bookstore and a friend of Sarah Hawkins. It seemed that the two of them were united in a common thirst for knowledge about the occult. He has a strange collection of parchments and books and spells, and he seems to know a lot about the island's clandestine activities. If he decided to explore the occult trial, he will be an excellent guide. Well, I did decide that. And for some reason, the Riverside Institute is now a thing. Although I was there before, I guess that was the Riverside Institute basement? The cellars of the Riverside Institute. Through the eyes of Dr. Colden, I finally visited the Riverside Institute, the operating rooms and dormitories around the pharmacy. Everything here has an air of respectability. Do nurses really know, like Dr. Colden, what's going on in the cellars? What is sure is that the staff fear Fuller. It is perhaps this fear that prevents them questioning the validity of the medical nature on the size of such the validity of a medical center of this size on such a small island. Then we got loads of things. Oh my god, High Priest. No, okay. We're not going to do that. I am just going to say goodbye here because oh my god. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being here. Ending. Go away. Thank you so very much for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you, but I am in a bit of a rush, unfortunately. So let me just say, I am Richard. This is LMTDTMFFR. I will be back here tomorrow with limited time offer, no Vowels. Until then, you have fun.